Hello, my name is Daniel and I'm going to tell you how I went from looking like this to looking like this, and crucially how I lost 50 kilos in body weight. This is a story that I've wanted to tell for years, so I'm going to take you from the beginning to what I'm calling the end, but it's not really the end. I'm going to come back to why that is at the end, and I'm going to cover how I did it, what went well, the challenges that I faced, but importantly, some takeaways or some tips and advice that you can take away and use in your own weight loss or well-being journey. I am also documenting phase 2 of my own journey on this YouTube channel, so please do like and subscribe. So going back to the beginning, as a young child, I was quite overweight. Fortunately though, however, in my early teens, my dad was going through his own weight loss and life transformation journey, and he joined the local running club, which was Mansfield Harriers, and he dragged me along. I didn't really want to go, but once I was there, I knew that this was the place for me, welcoming, friendly, active, and over the next few years, I transitioned into being quite a sporty kid. I had a paper round, I would run the cross countries, I'd go to the swimming club, I'd be quite active and I suppose quite normal. I was never elite, never winning big races, but I was definitely competitive for my age, and I was like the sporty kid in the class. My friends and I would spend the summer holidays cycling around the local area, cycling to Sherwood Pines. We were all generally quite active, in the environment I was in that we were quite active as well. So that all sounds great, but fast forward a few years to the point where I was 17 or 18 years old. You can make your own decisions then, can't you? I was working part-time alongside studying, so I had disposable income. I was allowed to go out and do things and buy beer and go out on the town, and that is what I did. My schoolmates and I would go out quite often, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I joined the Young Farmers, which isn't very much about farming, it's more about going out and having a good time, and I don't regret any of those one things, but I very much turned that into my lifestyle rather than being an athlete. I didn't run or swim or anything anymore. I just spent my evenings in the pub or out on the town at the weekends. I never got mixed up in drugs or anything. It wasn't like I was in a bad crowd, it was just beer and McDonald's mostly. So fast forward another few years, I'm in my early 20s now. I've tried to progress my career, so I'm no longer working in retail where I'm on my feet all day. I'm sitting in an office 9 to 5 on my backside, not really doing much, and I'm still living that lifestyle where I'm eating fast food, I'm going out and drinking, and that is my life. And that was just a recipe for disaster, essentially. My weight absolutely ballooned over those few years. This is where in around 2012 I peaked weight-wise, and I peaked at 127 kilos, which is about 20 stone in weight or 280 pounds, which in whatever measurement you measure it in, it is quite heavy. Now I am 6'2", so I do tend to carry the weight quite well, but I knew that I was wearing 40-inch waist trousers and they were quite tight. I knew that I had to do something. It wasn't healthy, I really wasn't happy about it, and I needed to make some changes. Now I did the classic, let's try every single diet under the sun. I lived on chicken and rice and chicken, and I did the fasting and all those things, and none of it seemed to work. Well, none of it worked because I didn't give anything long enough. A fad would last a week or two and that would be it. I'd be back to my old ways. So I thought long and hard about what I could do, what was I good at, what did I know, and I kept coming back to running. I'd ran for years and years, I knew how to run, I just needed to put some trainers on, right? Well, I can tell you this, that running at 20 stone is not enjoyable. I had chafing where, in places you didn't think chafing was possible. I went through more nipple plasters than is normal for anybody to go through in their lifetime. I struggled with injuries because I was so heavy, or the impact. It just really wasn't enjoyable, but I knew I needed to do some exercise to be able to turn my life around and lose some weight. So I thought back to what else do I know works? Running clubs. I joined my then local club at the time, Newark Striders. Now they were by no means like a competitive racing club, they were just a friendly local running club, and that was perfect for me. I paid £10 for a 12-week course or 12 weeks membership that was labelled Couch to 5K, and you go there a couple of times a week, you do various sessions, some of it might be just walk jogging, or some of it might be just jogging, I can't remember exactly, but I know that there are about 30 to 40 people there, and we all worked together over those weeks to be able to get up to running 5K. Now, because I ran in the past, I think I did go back to it easier than somebody who hadn't run at all, but being in that environment, being around motivated people, and going somewhere to do something really worked for me. It worked so well, in fact, that in the April of that year, when we reached the 12 weeks, I paid another £10 and I did a 5K to 10K plan, and with people training. Of course, people came and went, but that feeling of support and that feeling of you all being there for the same reason, that remained, and that was absolutely brilliant. And that course and that period of time was absolutely instrumental for me in losing some weight and turning my life around. Now, it wasn't all plain sailing in 2013. I'd be at the local park run most Saturday mornings trying to chip away at my time, and I wouldn't always get faster. I'd be struggling with injuries, I'd be struggling with motivation, and my diet and life habits still weren't good. I was occasionally going to running events and being very hungover from the night before and really not focusing on it as well as I should have done. Now, I've got limited data and photos from this period of time, but looking back at what I do have, I'd say I was around 110 kilos at this point, so a sizable loss in weight of 17 kilos, but still so far away from where I want to be, but it was progress. Now, one of the limiting factors for me in losing the weight was the ability to train lots. I was running maybe 2 or 3 times a week, but that was me at my maximum capacity with getting injuries and just with the general exertion of it. I couldn't do any more. So I knew that I needed to do more. So I thought, what else do I know how to do? Well, I know how to ride a bike and I know how to swim through my teenage years. I had a paper round as a teenager. And we were just coming off the back of the Brownlees at the London 2012, so at the Olympics. So triathlon was booming. There were a lot of triathletes in the area or people starting to ride bikes. So I bought a second-hand bike off of eBay at the time and started riding it. I joined Lincoln Wheelers and go out and do 20 miles or so with them at 10, 11 miles an hour. But it was progress. I was able to do more training per week, more hours per week, mix it up with a different sport, manage my injuries, and really start making some forward progress with that. So at the end of 2013, I'd cracked a 30-minute 5K. I was down to around 100 kilos, but the work was far from done. I knew I had a lot to do, but life was about to change because at some point in 2014, Liz, my girlfriend, and I decided to move out of our parents' houses and move in together. So we moved into Norfolk, a little quiet village. We worked in the local area. I did the same thing again. I joined the local running club, made friends with people in the village who ran or cycled, and tried to surround myself with people who were doing the same sort of thing as me. And very often they were better than me, but that was perfect because the environment I was putting myself in meant that I was going to be pushing myself constantly, not just becoming complacent. Now, this period of time was absolutely fundamental. Now, this is where my rate of progress really accelerated. I'd removed myself from the environment of my friends who I used to go out with all the time, and I was still in touch with them. I still see them every now and again, but the temptation wasn't there week in, week out to go to the local pub and so on. And because of that lifestyle change, things just got better and better. I started eating a plant-based diet, which just meant I had a lot better habits. The people in the local area were pushing me, and I'm still good friends with a lot of those people to this day. And it seemed to be that I was getting faster and stronger and healthier and fitter and lighter, and it was so easy to stay motivated because I was seeing such rapid improvement. Now, in 2016, alongside my normal job, I joined the retained fire service, and that was something I wanted to do for a little while after moving to where I moved to. And it was sort of like a byproduct, but it's graft. Some of the calls you go on and the hours of the day you're called out at, it was hard work, like physically hard work. And that meant that I was burning more calories, I was even more active than I had been before. And a combination of all those things just meant that, again, my weight loss journey really accelerated. And I was chipping off sometimes like a kilo a week consistently. There were also a couple of other crew members in the local fire service who were keen triathletes, so I would train with them quite a lot. And again, they were better than me, and that was brilliant. And that really helped me on my journey. I went on to do events such as the Outlaw Half, the London Marathon, Ironman UK, and this is when I really started to focus on performance. I knew that weight was a big factor in performance, and me being lighter would mean I'm better on a bike and better running for the most part. Now, I'd actually got down to around 78 kilos at this point, and I was beginning to get comments from people who I worked with or who I came across. They'd see that I'd lost some weight over the previous months, and I'd get comments like, "Oh, don't lose any more weight," or "You don't look very healthy." The lads at the station would call me scrawny and those sorts of things, and I took it all in good jest, but that just meant that I'd really dropped quite a lot of weight in a quick period of time towards the end of that period there. But then I was able to stabilize it, I was able to train consistently. For the next year or so, I enjoyed that fitness. I performed better than I'd ever performed before, I was happier and healthier, I felt better in my own skin. I still, though, felt like there was so much more to do. I never had that sense of accomplishment, like well done, job done. Looking back on it now, I wish that I did, but I didn't at that time. This was also the point where I felt confident enough to start this YouTube channel. In 2018, in the lead up to Ironman UK, I felt confident enough to put myself on camera and to talk about my training and to, train with just bib shorts on and those sorts of things. And I wouldn't have been able to do that in the past. However, and this comes back to the my journey isn't finished point, I think I'm always going to struggle with weight in my life, and I'm just on another ride of that roller coaster right now. I'm currently around 95 kilos, so about 15 kilos heavier than I was when I reached my best physical state in 2018, 2019. There are lots of factors that have gone into that. I'm not going to plead poverty. Obviously, we've gone through the pandemic and I've moved house and everything else, but I've not been as focused and I've struggled with it, to be honest. But I'm now documenting this phase 2 on this YouTube channel, and I'm really working hard to use the things that I've learned throughout this journey to help me in the future to hopefully make it the last journey that I have to go on. I know that this will always have to be a focus of mine in life, but I don't want to be riding this roller coaster anymore. I want to be just riding a, I don't know, long, straight, flat road. Now, if you're watching this and you're on your own fitness journey or weight loss journey or well-being journey, if there's one thing I could give you to take away, and please do take this away with you, and that is to think about who you surround yourself with when you're working on these goals. If you have similar goals to myself, to lose some weight, to get fitter, happier and healthier, go to a club. I don't care if it's a running club, a cycling club, a swimming club, a regular at the gym, or there's somebody on the street that you know who also goes running or something like that. Try and find a community or a group or even some people who are working towards the same things as you and use it positively. Try and surround yourself with people who are better than you. That's always motivating as well, so long as you're not training with like Olympians or something. And genuinely, I think that's the biggest single driver of my success in the weight loss field and general fitness field has been because I've been surrounding myself with not just physically good people, but mentally good people, people who are focused, people who are positive, people who want to be better. And there are so many examples of those clubs and those groups all around you. You've just got to have a look. And I know it's difficult to go to a club, and I know you probably don't think that you're good enough or that it's right for you, or it's inconvenient, but honestly, you will thank yourself for it in years to come, so take that away. Other than that, I wish you good luck on your own journey. I'm looking forward to documenting my journey ongoing for the rest of my life, and thank you for listening to me.